Imagine embarking on an unforgettable journey through the heart of Italy, where every turn is a new treasure and every moment is filled with beauty and culture. You start your adventure in Rome, the eternal city. Next, you venture into the rolling hills of Tuscany, where the air is perfumed with the scent of vineyards and olive grove. The journey continues to Venice, the floating city of canals and gondolas, after Five Earth and Milan. But your Italian adventure doesn't end on land. It's about to get even more extraordinary. A magical journey through Italy, topped off with a house music festival on Costa Cruise. Dance under the stars, relax in style, and discover exclusive performances on deck, all while sailing to some of the most beautiful destinations. There are 3 packages to choose from. Sailing dates are from September 24th through the 28th, 2025. Book yours now at festivaloncruise.com.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Heidi's house. This is your host, Queen Bee Heidi B. And today's featured guest is George Deep House Aiken. He's a DJ and a founder of Deep House Magazine and founder of Deep House Magazine Music Awards. I'm so excited to hear more about his house music journey. So, are you ready? Then let's go. So, here he is. George Deep House Aiken is in the house. Welcome, welcome,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I am great. I am great. A lot of work going on, but other than that, I'm great.
I know that you have been extremely busy, and I'm so happy and grateful that you uh, regardless of that busy schedule, um, took this time for having this interview. It's much appreciated. I'm really glad and grateful of having you here taking part of the Heidi's House podcast. So thank you again for being able to join in.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, truly. And each guest is somehow making a deep impact and contribution to a global house music community. And you surely and definitely are making a great impact. So, again, very glad and happy to have you joining in. And the first question, since we go to these questions very rapidly, it's going
Mhm.
to be a little introduction. So, could you tell our audience a little bit who is George Deep House Aiken?
uh, um, you know, started. I'm just a ordinary guy. Love house music. Grew up in like everybody else into hip hop. Transitioned over into house music at an early age while I was in attending college in the early '80s.
Mhm.
Um, attended some of the legendary clubs in New York City that played house music, or back then, they call it disco, or not so much house music, but disco music. Clubs like Newark, Zanzibar, in New York, the Garage, Red Parrot. Then you have mostly a lot of hip hop, Latin Quarters, the Fun House. So you know, growing up, it was just music has always been in my blood. Growing up, my cousin played for Kool and the Gang. Was a lead guitarist and producer for a lot of their hit records. Who passed on. You know, my mom sang, so it was, music has always been in my blood. So that's the type of person, that I am, and I just love it. I love making people dance. Um, and I'm always in the back end. I'm not so much seen in the front.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm more in the back end. I'm not a person that like the spotlight like that. But being able to uh, put stuff together and to give everybody something that they enjoy. That's the type of person I am.
Absolutely. And I just love the way how you express that you are interested in bringing the joy to people through the celebration of the house music, making
Yes.
people dance, and actually giving opportunity to be showcasing various kind of house music artists, DJs, and so on. So you are really doing amazing impact there in a house music community in that sense. And that's beautiful, that humbleness that comes through. um, and I want to go to the next question. As you mentioned the DJing, so when did you went to the DJing? When did you got started?
Um, I think I started DJing. It was actually fun. I started with um, a close friend of mine. Well, he was a closer friend of my cousin at the time, and we used to all hang out together. Who lived up the street from my grandmother's house.
Yeah.
And this guy named Arvin Todd, his mother brought him a DJ set back then. We used to call it the cheapest set you can get. Of course, back then was now. I mean, if they made it now, of course, you're like $25. But
Yeah.
he had the Panasonic turntable. So back then we used to call it the plastic turntable. That was a cheaper version of turntables that you was able to get, and a Gemini mixer. And we all used to be in this basement, and and at the time, like I said, we were playing hip hop, and uh, you know, learning how to scratch, playing the legendary songs by Chic, Good Times, and Dance with the Drummer's Beat, and all those hip hop records back then. That's what we were doing, and it was just out of fun. It wasn't. I didn't take it serious then. And then when I went on to because I was a little older than those guys, maybe by a couple of years, I went on to college. And when I got into college, one of the guys who I used to hang around a lot of guys that was in fraternities, and one of the guys in the fraternity was a DJ, and he had an off-campus apartment, and me and a couple of friends went over there with him, and when I found out it was a DJ, and I thought it was hip hop, and he said, "No, man, we play house music," and he was really the one. I can't remember this guy's name now, but he was the one who gave me my first introduction into house music and showing me how to play it. And back then you're talking about like 81, 82, 83, playing vinyl. And I got my first party. The first party I ever played was a day party at Jersey State University. Was called New Jersey State University now. And I never forget playing that day party to play on the college radio. My first time, and I played one time on the radio, had a great time doing it. And from there, I was doing day parties, and then I got an opportunity to play one of the frat parties. Yeah, I was doing a day party at Jersey State University. And my first day party, I was playing, and I never forget. I can remember this. Like, if I forget anything else, I'll never forget this day. I was playing Colonel Ingram's Trap, and I was mixing. I don't remember the record I was mixing it with. And at that day, I had a perfect blend. And the program director from the radio station happened to come downstairs because it was restaurants. We was out in the multi-purpose room, and for the hallway with the game room and stuff, and the restaurant and the bar. I was playing out there, and he had to come down and hear me playing, and it was like, oh man, and he gave me an invitation to play on the radio station. So that was quite interesting to play on the radio station. got married and had children, and that was it. I left I didn't start playing. Actually, I left it alone for about close to um it's got to be almost 25 years or more. I haven't played. I haven't touched the turntable or a
Oh,
record in like 25 years
okay.
until the actual pandemic. Well, before the pandemic.
All right. So we had a little bit cut there in the transmission, but what I was hearing is really it's like very exciting background. If I think about that, you really came from the hip hop background at that time, and mixing from
Yes.
that orientation, which is super technical also. So I can imagine how it has been building your DJing skills already, and then having the transition to house music and through the university parties, and doing also then getting introduced to radio DJing as well. So it sounds very exciting background, until you then took a long break from the DJing itself. So you said that you came back really during the pandemic. So tell us a little bit about how that came to be.
Well, actually, it was a few years, several years before, maybe 7 years before the pandemic.
All right.
Um, what happened was my cousin Carlton Roseborough, who back then was a very well-known DJ, played all over the world and played with a lot of legendary DJs like Tony Humphries and David Morales and Louis Vega, Jelly Bean Benitez, all those guys. And he transitioned to doing sound. And the one day he had called me up, he had a problem with his computer. And I had to fix his computer. And it's a crazy story because I had to take all his music, all his house music on his computer and dump it to my computer in order to fix his hard drive.
All right.
So when I had a copy of his music, I'm listening to it, and the DJ bug started biting again. So I was like, I'm going through it. And at this time, I had no equipment. I had no DJ equipment, no nothing. And I went online. I downloaded this program called Virtual DJ.
Okay.
And it's a tool you can actually DJ without equipment. You can do it with the keyboard and the mouse. And I started playing with that. I was just doing it in the house at the time. And I was one of the first people to start live streaming music. When live stream first came out, was Facebook was the first one to introduce live streaming.
Yeah.
And I was one of the first. At that time, I wasn't a DJ, but one of the first people live streaming.
That's amazing.
And I would live stream. I would just play music and nothing behind it, just playing, all sorts of. I was playing everything from R&B to hip hop to some house music and stuff like that. And I started to get more into it, and I brought my first little controller for like $25, and started learning stuff. And then I didn't have a headphone jack, so I couldn't cue music. So I was playing off a site, and then I went and brought another controller. That one would cost me $75, and I played with that one. Then I went and later on I went and bought a Pioneer controller, which is a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I paid like maybe $200 for that one. And then now this is just before maybe 2 years before the pandemic, or 3 years before the pandemic. When I met my now wife I was playing live stream, and I was trying to set up my days, and I was learning how to set up days and how to program and stuff like that. I was playing live stream, and a good friend of mine who I grew up with, his name is Jared Green. He had a clothing line called Passing, and he was doing a party, and he happened to see me playing live stream, and he called me and said, "Look, I may have a gig for you." I said, "Okay." So he introduced me to this guy named Sultan Burrell called Instantly Entertainment. And Sultan was the first one who gave me my first major platform to play on the big stage. And I played with Mark Francis and this other guy named I forget the other DJ's name. Uh I can't think of his name. I think he's from Canada, but I can't remember the guy's name. But Mark Francis played a major part in my playing and everything. But when I started playing live stream, I played this first gig, and it just went on from there. And I had a great time doing it, playing on playing live stream and then playing that. But
Yeah.
what happened was when I got the gig, to play, I had to go buy another controller. And
Right.
when I had to get a more professional controller because at the time I didn't know how to play on CDJs, and I only knew how to play on a controller. So I was going to and I was in the process of ordering controller online.
Mhm.
And my wife, then before we got married, she happened to sit in the room. She's like, "What you doing?" I said, "I got to order this controller." I said, "But I got to wait till I get paid to do it," because I was working at UPS, like I said. She's like, "No, here, go ahead." So my wife, who played a major part in my career also, she told me, "Go ahead and buy it." She gave me a credit card. She said, "Go ahead and buy it right now." So I went and bought the controller, the case, and everything. And it came like 2 days later. And then I had to learn, I had a week to learn how to play that controller to play this gig. And I was playing every day to learn that controller because it was a motorized plates and everything. I had to learn everything was different. And then I gradually got it, no problem, and I was able to play the gig, no problem. So that was my real big break
Yes.
into the house community in Jersey, when I played that gig. And I had a great time doing it. And the same guy, Sultan, brought me back again to play his brand experience. And I played with again Mark Francis, who major influence in my DJ career, and another brother named Soulful Messiah and Rashid Ahmed. I played with those three guys, so I had a great time doing it. It was my introduction to house music. I learned a lot from all those guys.
Yeah.
And I just having fun.
But now, if we have a complete jump into another topic, what got you, George, into founding Deep House magazine?
The question was, how did I start the magazine?
Yeah.
So, my magazines, how I had a magazine called Fashion Icon some years ago,
Right.
and the magazine was very successful. At the time, I was a photographer, and it was successful. I was doing high-end fashion shows like Fashion Week, all over New York City and New Jersey. And I since retired the magazine because I wasn't doing photography anymore. And my wife, now again, who played the part in it, she kept asking me. She said, "You should start your magazine again." And I didn't want to do it because doing a magazine takes a great deal of work. It's a lot of work to do this magazine. And there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, I didn't want to do the magazine again because it was a lot of work, a lot of detail work. And the one day I was doing my radio show, and I got off the radio, and I was like, "Oh, I just got this feeling to do the magazine." So I said, "I'm gonna do the magazine. I'm gonna just go ahead and do it." And I said, "I got to get a cover. I got to get a name for the magazine, and that's what I'm gonna do." So at the time, I was doing some gigs with my other cousin, family member, who I was a promoter, Kevin Simmons, Absolute House. I was doing some gigs with him, and he's into the deep house music, and they would always say deep house music. Yeah, you got to know deep house, deep house. Yeah. So I didn't know, and that just stuck in the back of my head. So I said, "You know what? I'm gonna name the magazine Deep House Magazine." Okay. So then after I named the magazine Deep, I had to get it covered. So who was I going to put? I needed to get a cover that's going to make an impact. I needed to get somebody who's going to who's gonna get people eyes on the magazine. I just couldn't put anybody on the cover. I mean, there's a lot of DJs out here, but I couldn't get no heavy hitter. You know, I couldn't get a Louis Vega or I couldn't get a Jahad Muhammad. I couldn't get none of those guys because the magazine had not been established. So I had to get someone that had a little name, that was coming up, and they was making a lot of noise. So what I did was I got just the DJ. He was the first person I put on the cover of the magazine. I called his father and I asked his father, Raven, I said, listen, I'm starting this magazine called Deep House Magazine. I want to know if I could use Justin or have Justin for an interview and make him the cover story. And he's like, sure. So I had to be careful with that because one, Justin was a minor, and two, I didn't want it to look like that I was doing it for financial gain or using. I wanted to do, it was the magazine was really for what it is now, to bring readers into the world of DJs, producers, and what we go through on a day-to-day basis, or when we're in the studio, or when we're playing, or what our influences and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people who have their favorite producer or favorite DJ, they don't know the personal side of them. They don't know what they go through. They want to know more about them. They want to know they're interested in their life. So that was how I came up with Deep House Magazine. And when I put it out I designed the cover in one night. Actually what I did was I had somebody create the logo, Deep House Magazine. They created the logo. They did it in like 2 days. I got it back. Rayvon sent me some pictures. I got the pictures, and then I had to teach myself how to design a magazine again. So of course, getting us the software, Adobe, Adobe products, all their whole suite, and then everything, and getting on there, and I learned. I taught myself and created the cover, and I released the cover. I think I created it I did it in August. Yeah, August. We released the cover in August. So when I did the cover in August, I put it out on social media. It blew up like wildfire.
Yeah.
And everybody and then from that point, by people looking for it to come out, I had people they wanted to work with me on the magazine. And my editor and my co-editor and everybody, I had a great team behind me, a great team that have worked with me that are very, very good at what they do. And that's how the magazine really came about. And we've been going strong. That was 3 years ago. We're in our third year, and it's doing very, very well.
It's definitely doing very well. I mean, you have wonderful, great big names there. Terry Hunter, Merlin Bob. Now you have Jihad Muhammad there. You have really established that magazine. And you know what? It is such an established magazine in that 3 years time that it reaches even house music community here in Europe, Finland, Northern Europe. So that is really, truly remarkable what you have been doing for the global house music community. And I'm so grateful of hearing how that journey started. Now you are doing so many things, George, that this interview is not gonna it's gonna be like a small scratch of everything, and I'm feeling that we might need to do a sequel at some point. But I do want to ask you two more questions. And the second one is obviously then the magazine has evolved into Deep House Magazine Music Awards. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, being in the house music scene, house music has been around for what 40, 45 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And it don't get the recognition like hip hop does.
Sure.
You don't get on the big award shows like the Grammys or never got on the Soul Train Music Awards or um, any of those award shows. Um, and thankfully, with um, Terry Hunter, who was able to get nominated 3 times for a Grammy. Along Louis Vega has been nominated for a Grammy and received a Grammy. Josh Milan has been nominated for a Grammy. But none of that stuff, unless they tell you, or none of that stuff is televised, so you would never know it. Yeah. Or unless you're in that camp, or you're part of that team, or you and his family, or you would never know that these guys were nominated for Grammys. So I would say maybe when I really got into the house music, just way before the magazine, DJ Dan Shiver, who has house music, yeah, good friend. He also works with me on the magazine.
Yeah.
Myself and Dan was talking about this several years ago about doing an award show, and I really wanted to do one. So it never really panned out. And then what I did was I was talking to my editor about it, and she said, "Yeah, we should do it." I said, "Okay, let's put it together." So, we had no idea what we were doing, none. And I just was, as several attempts of trying to get nominations and everything. So we was getting the nominations. We had to get the categories, the DJ categories. There's different categories in DJ. You got that deep house music DJs. You got the what you call commercial DJs who play commercialized house music, which we call safe music. So we had to do all that, producers and female producers, artists, and all other stuff. And then we also put in there promoters in there, because promoters plays an intricate part of the house music community.
Absolutely.
They're the one who put these parties together, where you get to see the DJs. You know who these artists are. So we put that together, and I was when I spoke to a friend of mine, Dawood Johnson, at his conference last year. He did a big 3-day conference, and he had gave away. There wasn't necessarily awards, but there was recognitions to top producers in Jersey. Mm-hmm. And he gave away 5 recognition awards, which was in a looked like almost like a record, like you get a gold record, stuff like that, a platinum record. It was like that, but it was a red one. And he gave them record. He gave it to Jahai Muhammad, Mark Francis, Mark Lewis, who else? I think Naeem Johnson. It's a few other people he gave it to. Mm-hmm. So that got my creative juices flowing about doing the award show. And I spoke with Dawood Johnson about it, and he was like, "Look, let's make it happen. I would like to put it with the conference, and we can make this a big thing." I said, "Okay." So that's how that came about. And we was going to do the conference, then we canceled because of the contract dispute with the venue we was going to have it at. They kept trying to throw in all these hidden fees, and the price was going up and up, almost $40,000 to hold the event.
Yeah.
And it was just, if we didn't make the money on ticket sales, it would have been in a hole. So we came up with the idea. Well, Dawood actually came up, and I gave him a lot of credit for this. He was the one who came up with the idea of putting the award show on the biggest damn block party platform, which was a block party he hosts every year in North New Jersey. And it would be the first half of the block party from 12 to 4. We have a 4-hour time slot to do the award show. And it came out wonderfully. It came out beautifully. We had a great time doing it. Everybody came out. We had Mickey Affleck was there. Jahai Muhammad was there. They got their awards. Well, actually, Jahai was there, but he got there late, and I saw him, but I had to leave after the award show part segment was over. I had to leave to go to work. So I had Jahai's award all that time. But I get to that point how he got his award. But then, when we put that together, it was just great. It was
Yeah.
really wonderful, and I've gotten so many phone calls and text messages or uh, inbox messages on Facebook about the award show, how people loved it and had a
Yes.
great time and everything, and looking forward to the next one. But jumping with Jahai, because we was giving Terry Hunter an award, and he was supposed to come, and
Mhm.
he couldn't make it because he had a gig. So I was going to send it to him because Brother Basil, who also is my mentor,
Mhm.
and I've been knowing Brother Basil since I was maybe 12 or 13 years old. He was
Wow.
the first person I actually seen DJ. So, but Brother Basil, he was supposed to come, but he couldn't make it. I overnight his award to him. And I was going to send Terry Hunter his, but then they announced the Children's Few Picnic. So I had an idea. I
Mhm.
said I need to bring people in Chicago the awareness of the award show and the magazine to about 45,000 people.
Yeah.
And what I did was I reached out to Terry Hunter and I said, hey, I got your award. I said, what I want to do, I would like to present your award to you on stage at the Children's Few Picnic. And he
That's
was like,
good.
yes, let's do it. Let's do it. He was
Yeah.
excited. So I sent him a picture of his award and he was like, whoa. So I said, yeah, we're going to give it to you at the award show. So we flew out to Chicago,
Mhm.
myself, my whole team, my wife, my editors, my editor-in-chief, my interviewer, Eddie Nichols. Uh, we all went out to Chicago, Paris, uh, and they brought the awards out there. Now, mind you, Jahad Muhammad played on that ticket.
Yeah.
So, okay, I can give Jahad his award also in Chicago.
Yeah.
So that was a double whammy that we did. Um,
Absolutely.
so when we got there, we coordinated with Terry Hunter stage people and his team. When we were going to do it, we wanted to find out when he wanted to receive his award. He said, "No, give me my award. I want to get my award just before I start playing." I said, "Okay, cool." We got on stage. We did our introduction. Dawn did the introduction. We presented Jahad Muhammad with his award first.
Mhm.
He came out. He was totally surprised. He didn't know he was going to get it there on
Oh,
stage.
yes.
And then we gave Terry Hunter his, and the crowd just went totally bananas.
Yeah.
And my editor, she
Beautiful.
said, go to deephouse.magazine.com, get a copy of the magazine. We put together the Children's Few Special Edition magazine.
Yes.
Everybody in the magazine was from Chicago DJ. Everybody. We did shows. We had Mike Dunn, Alan King, uh, Terry Hunter, the Hatchet Brothers, everybody, and we even Celeste Alexandria.
So sounds like really, it was somehow it sounds to me that all the things fit beautifully together. You had a team with creative ideas how to get your new magazine promoted, and then the connection to the Chosen Few festival. For me, it sounds phenomenal, and how you describe the audience, becoming like really like wild when you handed out the awards there.
Yeah,
Chosen Few picnic was really, I think, something really special for 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 uh, for the magazine. It's such a great promotional idea there.
yes. When we didn't know what to expect
Hmm.
because it was all our first time at the. We hear about this picnic that everybody talks about. And they get upward of between 40 and 45,000 fans out there,
Yeah.
and we didn't know what to expect when we went there because it's our first time. And to go the first time, and then able to get on that stage, that big stage, to present one of the legendary DJ producers with an award like Jahad and Terry Hunter was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And when like I said, when we gave Terry Hunter his award, he received the Frankie Knuckles Lifetime Achievement Award, which
Hmm.
was really, really, which was really, really good because I think he wasn't expecting to get that.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't expecting to get that. So I'm trying to get this thing from swinging at the camera.
It's a,
He wasn't expecting to get it, and like I said, it was really really great to have Terry Hunter, to
yeah.
have that whole team really
Mhm.
to allow us to be part of that event. You know, to allow us to be part of the Children's Food Picnic, to give those awards out um, to these fantastic DJs,
Yeah.
producers, who produce great music that we all play or dance to. So like I said, it was really, really fun, and I had a great time doing it.
I have to say that truly, I truly understand why it has skyrocketed so fast, because of the thing that you mentioned a little bit earlier, the appreciation towards house music. We need to see that more. It has been there more than 40 decades, but it
Yes,
hasn't been like televised or been in so much presented in the media. It has always been there, but it still has had that kind of underground flavor, that kind of status,
yes,
even though it has influenced electronic dance music mainstream a lot. And if you interview any kind of big names in a electronic music scenes, most of them have their influences also coming from the house music. So we truly need those people like you and your team who bring the appreciation towards the house music and create a media for that genre and that culture. And nowadays, if you think about the early days, you've been there already during the early days of house music when it wasn't yet called house. So you have seen the evolvement so far. And now I'm thinking, Europe, Asia, we have like people making house music from all over the world. So it truly, truly, truly more than deserves, platforms that give the appreciation, and at the same time keep it connected to where it all came from the pioneers of the house music, the people who are, creating the sounds of today, all that and more. So I totally understand why it skyrocketed because there has been a demand, definitely.
yes, yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's getting, it's getting, um, it's getting out there.
Mhm.
It's slowly but surely getting out there. And you know, when you um look at you know the direction house music is going,
Yeah.
um, when it comes to the media, I can remember, I was home. This is like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I was watching TV and the commercial came on,
Mhm.
and I forget what was the commercial, which was, I don't know if it was for a cell phone. I forget what it was for, but DJ Charisma, uh, "Work It Out," the remix he did, "Work It Out," was the backdrop song for that commercial on TV.
Yeah.
So it's getting there. When you have people like Tony Touch, who played on out here in New York City, um, um, Pix News in the morning. He played on the news station and all that, like Tony Touch, and you had Hard Hitting Harry, and you had Brother Basil who also played. I think Brother Basil played on Fox 5.
Mhm.
Uh, Louis Vega played on the news station. Like all these guys who, like Tony Touch and Louis Vega and Brother Basil, consistently do things and open doors for cats like myself,
Yeah.
where we taking this genre and we creating something more to help build the genre
Yeah.
or this culture to a bigger platform. And the world is the biggest platform that you can have.
Yeah. Yeah.
The world is the biggest platform you can have. But like I said, we are working uh, to make that happen, and and like I said, we having fun doing it.
Absolutely. And that's going with the whole ethos of the house music, which is all about the unity, having fun, love,
Yes,
creativity, expression, dance. That's what I love about house music as well. I also, I mean, if you think about it, it really landed in Europe very early. I heard my first house music track in 1987, was it? Love Can Turn
wow,
Around in local radio, and that did that thing for me. That got me excited about house music. So it has been around for such a long time, and it truly is very strange if you think about it, that that there hasn't been more magazines and more people really bringing that culture more upfront in the media. But it's about time, and I'm really glad that you and your team are one of those people who do that, and also, of course, contribute by giving the awards and that kind of recognition. I think it's super important for the artists, DJs, producers, to have that recognition as well. So
yes.
so it's something very motivating in my opinion as well, and in my belief. Now, the question that I wanted to ask uh, regarding your own house music journey, um, George, what do you say? Who are the greatest musical influences for you? Who are the people, DJs, artists that influence your music somehow the most, or your DJing?
Uh, well, my DJ influences again. You got Brother Basil,
Mhm.
you got Mickey Affleck, you got Louis Vega, David Morales, Tony Humphries, uh, who else? David Penn. There's quite a bit of influences in my life when it comes to house music. When it comes to DJ producers, you got producers like Mano, uh, who's uh, this phenomenal Afro producer. Um, you got Oscar P,
Mhm.
who's a great producer. Jahan Muhammad, Mark Lewis, uh, even our locals. Some of the locals like uh, uh, DJ Beloved, who not only is a great DJ, but he's a great producer.
Yeah.
Um, you know, those guys right there consistently uh, put out. When you talk about producers, they put out great music. And for me as a DJ, and I can't speak for other DJs, but for me as a DJ, the music has to move me in order for me to play.
Mhm.
Um, if you're a dancer, and if you would dance, you have to think of yourself when you're a DJ. You have to think of yourself of you being on the floor, and if this is what you want to listen to,
Yeah,
you got to
absolutely.
put yourself in the third person perspective uh, in order to execute a great mix.
Mhm.
Um, that's what you have to do. Um, I I put myself in the third when I'm playing. Uh, I put myself in that. You know, okay, well, I dance to this.
Yeah.
This gonna get me moving. And then of course you got your favorites. The house music favorites that people like to hear, that are hits.
Mhm.
But for the most part, I have to put myself as in a third person perspective and say, well, I dance to it when I'm playing songs. And of course, there are songs that I play that don't move me because I get music consistently all the time from new artists, new producers,
Yeah.
and I play it on my radio show. I give them an opportunity to be heard, regardless of because I may not like it. Don't mean nobody in the audience may like it.
Yes.
So I can't. So I play songs that are straight hits. People play, they love it, but I'm not a big fan of the song.
Mm.
I'm not a big fan. I mean, I'm a fan of the artist, but I might not be a fan of that particular track.
Yeah.
Um, like give you an example, Anaya Weathers, who I love dearly. She has, a bunch of songs out, and I think you interviewed Anaya Weathers.
Yeah, yes, I did.
Yes, she's a good friend of mine. Love her
Yeah,
to
that's
death.
Anaya.
Yes, and she has a bunch of songs, but a lot of the songs don't move me to play. But there's a couple that she has that there are remixes or whatever that are in my opinion are bangers that I can play. I can rock. I played one, matter of fact, last weekend. But
Mm.
like I said, most for the most part, like I give you an example. I can do a whole 3 hour set and play nothing but all Louis Vega stuff
Yeah,
because I love everything he does, from the
yeah,
down tempo to the high energy tracks. The same thing with Jihad Muhammad. The same thing applies to Beloved. The same thing applies to Mando. The same thing applies to Oscar P. Um, Doug Gomez, who's another one.
yeah,
Great producer. Um, you know, I have so much about their music because I love the energy they put behind it. The energy when it comes to the drums, the energy when it comes to the synth or wherever they put in the synths, or if it's a remix of an original, or they taking a song and they just doing a re-edit.
yeah,
I love that energy. So I can do a whole 3 hour set, just play those artists or those producers, excuse me. So those guys, yeah, those are my influences that keep me going, you
yeah,
know. Um, and then you got some up and comers, DJs, like uh up and coming DJs that influence that I love listening to, like DJ Amir, who is young, up and coming. Well, he's not an up and coming. He's now marked, uh, executed his mark in his genre, uh, playing with Black Coffee, being on tour with Black Coffee, and doing a bunch of stuff and playing all over the world. You got up and coming like Justin DJ, Jordan Pope, J Star. Those guys are now the ones we're passing the baton to because they're the ones going to keep
yeah,
house music alive. And
yeah,
I love listening to those guys playing, because they're good at what they do. Some of them surpass people who've been playing for years. Like Justin. Justin is being, highly requested DJ, getting booked all over the place. And he's only 17 now. And he
mm,
plays he plays like he's been playing for 30 years. And he's only
mm,
been playing for no one. I think Justin has been playing for 5 years.
yeah,
And then you got a newcomer, D Boyd, who's making his way up the ranks, young guy. And he's been playing for a couple of years, but just not getting the recognition now and being booked all over the place.
yeah.
So, you know, it's 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 fun for me. I love it.
Absolutely. And
It's
thank you
fun.
for sharing about those names, because for my audience, and it's also beautifully, nicely, steadily growing. They love always, this kind of answers, and this question what I'm asking from each featured guest, because it's kind of keep them up to date.
Yes.
Also who to listen, maybe who to follow, who to inspire when it comes to their DJing or their production, and just also to be educating themselves about all these various artists, beautiful producers, DJs, and so forth. So thank you again so much for sharing on this. And now, George, I mean, you you basically do it all. You DJ, you have your radio shows, you have your magazine, you have even the music awards you have going on. I don't know what you don't what you're not doing. You're doing tremendously lot, and we all are here, I think, in our global house music community, very grateful of your contribution. And again, I thank you very dearly for taking part of this little snapshot of interview. And I'm gonna continue with some music from those DJs, producers, artists that you mentioned about. I know it's very difficult to state some of your top tracks, but if you could name few, maybe one, two, three tracks that seems to be always something that you go to, would you be able to answer that? I know it's a little bit mission
Yeah.
impossible.
My top track, one of my top tracks that I love is and it's funny because I can never think of the name of the songs. I just know when I know them when I look at them.
Yeah.
But I could tell you one of the top tracks I love playing. Mark Lewis a song. I can't think of the name of. Mark Lewis is one of them. DJ, a producer. Anything from Mark Lewis.
All right.
Anything from Jihad Muhammad. Uh, you know, uh, that Jihad produced. That's and definitely one of my number one uh, number one top track that I have that I love that I can play. I could play it 5 times in a row every day on the show. Would be uh, Another Day with Louis Vega.
Wonderful.
That
So
that was my top. That's my top track right there. That right there, that song, Another Day. If you heard it and you really listen to it, it's actually like an inspirational song. And that song, when I play it, I play it in the middle of my show, and it inspires me to just go. I can accomplish everything. So yeah, that's my number one song.
And that is one of the songs that we are gonna hear now in the mini mix that is following this interview. Again, I thank you very dearly. And if somebody now wants to follow you in social media, obviously you mentioned the Deep House Magazine's web address, but if they want to know and follow you more and find out more about George Deep House Aiken, where can they find you in
They can
social
find
media?
me. I'm on Instagram at DJ George underscore A on Instagram. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Deep House the Magazine on Instagram. And on Facebook, of course, DJ George Deep House Aiken. You can find me on Facebook there. And of course, everybody can go to the website, deephousemagazine.com. And you can also reach me through there, chat. I get all the chats that come to my phone. I answer all the chats when I can, whether it's on Facebook or emails. And if you want to email me, you can email me at deephouse magazine@outlook.com. That's how you can.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So people, if you haven't already, please, and go and check all of those sites and social medias and support by following. Obviously, support the magazine, support the radio shows. Beautiful things going on for more than 3 years now when it comes to the magazines and everything. And I wish so many more years, more to come, and this thing to grow more and more
Oh,
every year.
one more thing I just gotta mention, um, guys. I will be premiering. Well, actually, I already have a YouTube page, but I will be premiering live stream for the first time live on YouTube. You can catch me there every Friday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's a 4-hour set. Deep House Soul Sessions on YouTube. And that's at YouTube at DJ George underscore A. At YouTube, you can catch me on YouTube every Friday there. And I'm there for 4 hours. Deep House Soul Sessions. I will be premiering new music and also playing some old classics and some Afro house, so everything. I play a little bit of everything there. So catch me there every Friday.
Wonderful. So tune in every Friday. And I have to say that you are absolutely generous person to be, putting all that energy and time for all of these activities. And really truly I can hear that it's a lifestyle for you. The house music, it's a way of
Yeah,
living. You live and breathe it truly, and you're like an ambassador. That's the feeling that I get from you, the beautiful humble ambassador of
thank
house
you. I appreciate
music culture. So I thank you so much. And
Well, I do.
I also sent a lot of thank you to your wife who contributed to all those beautiful
Yeah,
ideas.
I just got up to work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
she gets on me. She gets on me a lot about a lot of stuff that I'm doing, and if I don't, if she sees a lot and she helps me a lot, with her ideas, her suggestions, and everything, and of course she gets on me when I don't do something right, but she's a major, major, major part of what I do. Because if it wasn't for her pushing me to do the magazine, there would never be a magazine. There would not be a magazine. If it wasn't for her pushing me to get out in the public more, I would never, I would just sit in the house on live stream and I would, do just wait for people to call me. But because of her, helped me create my own lane as a DJ, and now I'm going, not just having the magazine and award show and blah blah blah. Now I'm doing producing and promoting my own summer event, which would be, I do twice a year. This is the first year we do the backyard summer jam, um, that we do in June, and then the second one will be August. We got one coming up next week, and the second one will be the Block Party Summer Jam, which will the second one will feature all female lineup DJs. So the first one we got Nunu Rocks, we have DJ Nubian, we have Susan Estrada and DJ Mish. Four ladies, four states for the love of house. So we got ladies that's gonna be rocking. There's no men on the ticket. These are all women that's gonna be just putting in work and doing what they love doing and having a great time.
wonderful. That's a beautiful place, to end this interview. And again, it's really a labor of love for both of you, truly. And I salute you also for supporting the female DJs. That's a big
Yes.
big big issue, that still needs more work on. We talk about house music culture, but I DJ myself, and I believe that there should be more and more and more women encouraged to do that, and really to give the appreciation for that as well. So thank you for contributing on that as well. So
I appreciate it.
absolutely beautiful. Wish I
Thank
was there to be a fly on the wall and experience all of those fun events, but hopefully one day.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, never know. Never know. Never
Next
know.
time when it states. All right. So I'm sending a lot of blessings and love straight from Helsinki, Finland, to you and your family. And
Thank you.
now we
Thank you.
continue to the mini mix. So I say bye bye and thank you again.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.
It's house. Heidi's house. Heidi's house. It's house. Heidi's house. Imagine embarking on an unforgettable journey through the heart of Italy, where every turn is a new treasure and every moment is filled with beauty and culture. You start your adventure in Rome, the eternal city. Next, you venture into the rolling hills of Tuscany, where the air is perfumed with the scent of vineyards and olive grove. The journey continues to Venice, the floating city of canals and gondolas, after Five Earth and Milan. But your Italian adventure doesn't end on land. It's about to get even more extraordinary. A magical journey through Italy, topped off with a house music festival on Costa Cruise. Dance under the stars, relax in style, and discover exclusive performances on deck, all while sailing to some of the most beautiful destinations. There are 3 packages to choose from. Selling dates are from September 24th through the 28th, 2025. Book yours now at festivaloncruise.com.